Have you ever wished you could think in English, just like native speakers? Imagine effortlessly forming sentences, expressing your thoughts, and speaking fluently without translating in your head. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's possible, and in today's video, we'll show you how to achieve this step by step. Learning to think in English isn't just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about rewiring your brain to communicate directly in English. This shift will not only boost your fluency, but also your confidence in speaking, writing, and even understanding the language. In this video, we'll take you through 4 powerful stages, starting from verbs, moving to nouns, then sentences, and finally, paragraphs. We'll also share actionable tips to help you eliminate translation and make English your second nature. So, grab a notebook, stay with us till the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Now let's dive into the first step of this exciting journey, thinking in verbs. The first step to thinking in English is focusing on verbs, the action words that bring life to any sentence. Why start with verbs? Because they are the core of communication. Think about it. Every activity you do involves a verb: walking, eating, reading, or talking. To practice, begin by observing your daily actions and identifying the verbs in English. For example, when you wake up, think, wake up, brush, drink, write. When you're commuting, think, drive, walk, wait. This simple habit trains your brain to associate actions directly with English words, skipping the translation process entirely. Here's a quick exercise for you. As you watch this video, look around and try to describe what people or things are doing using verbs. For instance, typing, watching, or listening. Even if you're unsure about grammar or full sentences, it's okay. Start with verbs. They're your building blocks. Remember, consistency is key. The more you think in verbs, the faster your brain adapts to processing English naturally. In the next section, we'll move beyond actions to focus on naming the world around you. Once you're comfortable thinking in verbs, it's time to expand your focus to nouns. The names of people, places, and things. Nouns help you identify the world around you, giving context to your actions. Start small. Look around your environment and name the objects you see in English. For example, chair, phone, table to window. When you're outside, identify places and people: park, shop, child, dog. This practice sharpens your observation skills and builds your vocabulary effortlessly. To make it engaging, play a mental game. Challenge yourself to name 5 new objects every day in English. If you're not sure about the correct word, look it up and repeat it several times to memorize it. Apps and flashcards can also be a helpful tool here. Another tip: label objects in your home with sticky notes. Write the English name and stick it on items like mirror, fridge, or lamp. Each time you see the label, your brain reinforces the connection. Nouns work hand in hand with verbs. Together, they form the foundation for simple sentences. Speaking of which, in the next section, we'll take this to the next level, combining verbs and nouns to create sentences that flow naturally. Now that you've built a strong foundation with verbs and nouns, it's time to combine them into sentences. This stage is crucial for developing the flow of your thoughts in English. Start with simple, everyday sentences. For example, I eat breakfast, the dog runs, or she reads a book. These sentences are short, clear, and use the vocabulary you've already practiced. As you gain confidence, add details to your sentences. Instead of I eat breakfast, say I eat breakfast at 8 a.m. Or instead of the dog runs, say the dog runs in the park. This small adjustment improves your ability to express ideas more fully. A great way to practice is by narrating your actions as you go through your day. For instance, while cooking, think, I cut vegetables, I boil water, or I wash dishes. It may feel awkward at first, but it's an excellent habit to internalize sentence structure. Another powerful technique is self-talk. Stand in front of a mirror and describe your day or your plans out loud in English. For example, today I will go to the market. I need to buy fruits and vegetables. After that, I will read a book. This not only improves your fluency, but also boosts your confidence. Keep in mind that mistakes are part of the learning process. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress. Over time, forming sentences in English will become second nature. Once you're comfortable thinking in sentences, it's time to level up to paragraphs. This stage involves connecting multiple sentences to describe scenes, tell stories, or share your thoughts in greater detail. For instance, instead of saying, "I wake up," "I brush my teeth," "I eat breakfast," you can combine these actions into a flowing paragraph. Every morning I wake up at 7 a.m. I start my day by brushing my teeth and washing my face. After that, I prepare a healthy breakfast with eggs and toast. While eating, I like to plan my tasks for the day. This exercise pushes your brain to think more comprehensively in English. As a result, you'll not only improve fluency, but also develop the ability to express complex ideas with ease. To practice, observe the world around you and describe it in your mind. For example, if you're sitting in a park, think, "The park is full of life. Children are playing on the swings. Birds are chirping in the trees. A gentle breeze is blowing, making the leaves rustle. People are walking their dogs or jogging on the paths." You can also try journaling. At the end of each day, write a short paragraph about what you did, how you felt, or something interesting you noticed. This habit enhances your ability to recall words and organize your thoughts in English. As your paragraphs improve, start experimenting with more creative expressions. Use adjectives to add color to your descriptions, or try forming questions and answers within your thoughts. For example, "Why is the sky so cloudy today?" Maybe it's going to rain. To make this journey even more effective, focus on real-world application. Thinking in English becomes natural when you immerse yourself in environments where English is used. For example, visit a cafe, park, or store and mentally describe everything around you in English. Imagine you're narrating a scene for someone who can't see it. The barista is preparing coffee while customers wait in line. The smell of freshly brewed coffee fills the air. A man is reading a newspaper at the corner table, while a couple chats softly over lattes. You can also practice with self-talk exercises. Speak to yourself in English when you're alone. For instance, as you cook, think or say out loud, "I'm boiling water for tea." Next, "I'll cut some vegetables for the salad. This knife is really sharp, so I need to be careful." These exercises train your brain to respond to daily situations directly in English, removing the need for translation. With time, thinking in English will feel as natural as breathing. Don't forget to use reflective practices like journaling or creating stories in your head. Write about an imaginary trip, a dream you had, or even a plan for the weekend. Use different tenses to strengthen your understanding of grammar while describing events. Pair this with consistency. Set aside specific times each day to engage in these activities. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused practice can bring noticeable improvements. The key is to stay patient. Fluency is a journey, not a race. Celebrate small wins along the way, like forming a complete paragraph or describing a scene fluently for the first time. Now that you've mastered thinking in sentences and paragraphs, it's important to reinforce your learning with daily practice. The more you practice thinking in English, the quicker you'll find that it becomes second nature. Try immersive activities that push you to think in English during daily tasks. For example, while you're cooking, describe the ingredients in English, or mentally rehearse your day in English before it happens. You can even follow along with an English language podcast or YouTube video, and mentally summarize what you've heard afterward. One of the best ways to improve fluency is through conversations with others. Engage with people who speak English, whether it's a language exchange partner, an online community, or even friends and family. Start with small conversations and try to think in English before speaking. As you continue, remember that making mistakes is part of the process. Don't worry if you make errors while speaking or thinking in English. Each mistake is a stepping stone toward greater fluency and understanding. Another essential element is self-reflection. After practicing, take a moment to reflect on what you struggled with. Did you find it hard to describe a situation? Were there words or expressions that you couldn't recall? This awareness will guide you to the areas where you need more practice. Additionally, use technology and apps to reinforce your skills. Language apps, flashcards, or online exercises can provide quick, interactive ways to test your understanding and keep your brain sharp. As you progress through these stages of thinking in English, remember that the process is gradual, You might not become fluent overnight, but by consistently applying these techniques, your thinking will naturally shift to English. With time, you'll not only speak more fluently, but also feel more confident in your ability to communicate. Embrace the journey. Remember, the path to fluency isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Thinking in English is a skill that takes time to develop, but with consistent practice, you'll see noticeable improvements in your fluency, confidence, and ability to express yourself. The more you immerse yourself in English, the easier it will become to think in English naturally. It will no longer feel like a challenge to mentally translate everything. Instead, English will become the default mode of your thinking, and communication will flow smoothly. Don't be afraid to push your limits. Challenge yourself by thinking in English during more complex activities, like problem-solving or decision-making. Try to form ideas, opinions, or even express emotions in English without pausing to translate. The more you do this, the more natural it will become. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Whether you're able to form a simple sentence without translating, or you're able to describe a situation in more detail, each milestone brings you one step closer to fluency. Consistency is key to making thinking in English a habit. Even on busy days, set aside a few minutes for practice. Whether it's observing your surroundings in English, journaling, or having a short conversation with yourself. Lastly, as you look back on your progress, remember that thinking in English is a lifelong skill. Even after you reach a high level of fluency, there will always be room for improvement. Continue to refine your ability to think in English, and your skills will continue to grow. So let's get started. Begin integrating these practices into your daily routine. Embrace thinking in English, and before you know it, you'll find yourself not only speaking the language with ease, but also thinking and living it every day.